So we have another question for you, Sensei Bobby. For self-defense purposes, how long do you think it should take the average adult who's in moderate to good health and studying karate to effectively be able to defend him or herself in the street?
Well, I think, I believe that if you keep it simple and practical, I believe that it doesn't take long. And a timeline, I can't tell you because every individual is different. But if you keep it simple and you keep it practical, I believe that it probably would not take a person very long at all. You got to remember, we're training people who, you know, everyday Joe Blow, everyday Susie Blow, you know. We're not, Navy SEALs are not going to walk into a dojo. That's all there is to it, you know. So we're talking about a jab and a punch and a kick, and then you get out of there. You know, because in order to teach something like that, where you have an extended situation where you're fighting, it takes a lot more time than that. You want to be able to make an effective blow and then get the heck out of there.
Yeah. Maybe you can give our listeners some indication of like what your training was like how often you trained or how long, how intense. What was that like? Well,
because I was in high school, I mean, I had no responsibility, so I was able to go every day. And what that did for me is that it helped me work out a lot of things that I was going through as a kid. And it was my safe place. It was my safe place. So I went there and I punched the bag, and I was able to work out some frustration. I had a million questions, but not one answer. And my instructor, God bless him, took his time to explain a lot of things to me. You know, so I was able to go to competitions and actually hit people and not get in trouble for it. You know, when in high school I did that and I got in a lot of trouble.
Right.
So every day I was in school. I was in the dojo training, and on Sunday I was at my instructor's house. He and his wife were teachers. And when I left, there were stacks and stacks of books on the floor that I never put back. And because I wanted to find out more about what was going on around me. You know? So I said, you know, this is the stuff for me. You know, everybody has some kind of way to work out their stuff. You know, so because I think it's been good to me. I love it. I wouldn't do it for anything else, for anything in the world.
So there were two things that stuck out to me. What you said. One, it sounds like you had a personal relationship with your instructor, which, given today's arrangement, is very different. Meaning, it sounds like you had a personal relationship, and that benefited you in a very direct way. And then the second thing you said you were able to compete and also, you know, hit people and not get in trouble for it. Maybe you can speak to, on one hand, what it's like to have that relationship with your instructor and the practical value of that. And then secondly, something that a person walking into a karate dojo, I would say honestly in the past 15 years to present, wouldn't even think that hitting was allowed at all. So maybe you could share a little bit about what it was like in your day of sparring and training.
Right. Well, my relationship with my instructor was such that he was a teacher at the high school I was going to, and I had no idea. And I would ditch school, and I'd come into the dojo, he'd say, "How was school today?" Oh, it was fine, yeah, it was great. And then the next day, "Oh, how was school?" "Oh, it was great, yeah." He said, "Well, why did you miss this day in school and that day?" I said, "Well, wait a minute." He says, "I'm a teacher there, and I know Miss Giovinazzi. And I know every day you miss school." I said, "Oh my God." And he said, "If you keep ditching school," he said, "I'm gonna kick you out of the dojo." And that was it for me. Because I knew that I needed it. You know, I knew I needed it. And so he says, you want to be a tough guy? He said, you and me are gonna walk in that bathroom. He said, if you come out first, you do what you want to do. If I come out first, you do what I say do. I said, "Oh no, I said, I capitulate."
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So after that, I was there every day because, again, I saw the value of it, and he saw the value in me, which all instructors should see the value in their students. And that's why, you know, you take one in your wing and you guide them correctly. You guide them correctly. Now, when I had a chance to go to competitions, and the first time I went to a competition was over in San Francisco, California Karate Championships back in 1969. And I walked in there and I saw these people, and I said, oh man, this is really something. And I had 8 fights.
Wow. And
I lost 1 fight. I won 7 and lost 1. And I cried like a baby. And he said, what are you crying for? I said, because I lost. He said, but you won 7. I said, oh, okay. He says, don't worry about that. After that, I went on a terror, and I started winning from then on, up until I no longer felt that I needed to hit people to see value in my own self.
So what allowed you to get to that level? What was your training like?
Oh, man.
Like a typical day?
Had us, we would spar in the dark.
Wow.
My son's uncle, he would tie us, my instructor would tie us end to end to a belt, turn off the lights. He said, go for it. And man, we would tear that place up, you know, and he would have us go down onto the beach and run and stand on the rocks and block and all kinds of, just like that movie Karate Kid, you know. And we did that. We'd do push-ups forever. We'd stretch and run and jumping jacks, the whole 9 yards. You know, we did all of that kind of stuff, you know.
Wow.
And so when we finished with that, we would spar, and then he'd say, well, how did he get that point on you? Think about it. Oh, okay, maybe I should have blocked, or I should have done this or that. And then he would have us reflect, you know, and say, okay, this is what I don't want to do anymore.
Now, was this a mixture of training with gloves and without? Because I know in your day, the tournaments were bare knuckles.
This is bare knuckles. Bare knuckles. You see some guys with white tape wrapped around their knuckles. I said, what's that for? He said, that's so the referee or the judge can see your hands. You know, I said, oh, okay. Didn't make sense to me, but okay. You know, so that's what it was like. You know.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.